Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Last week I asked you guys on my Instagram to send me your queries since I was planning on doing a Q&A video as I didn't release any yet this year, and I got a good amount of questions which I will be answering today. If you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure to follow me. Here's my handle. And I post a lot of stories and a lot of updates on Instagram, so if you're following me over there, you won't be missing out on all the latest videos and the latest updates that are going on in my life. Now let's get down to the questions. So the first question, how's life in Calgary? Life in Calgary is pretty great. If you are following me on Instagram and you're watching my YouTube channel, you know that we are having a lot of fun in Calgary. We love exploring the mountains nearby, and life in Calgary is well balanced for us. We love the vibe over here. It's not too crowded, but it's a big city. It's not inaccessible to anything. You have everything in the city, and if you always want to travel, there are a lot of things to see nearby. Everything is within an hour to a couple hours drive, which is pretty awesome, and we really love our lives here in Calgary. Question 2. Do you think it's worth taking PR in Canada right now? Pros and cons of living in Canada. That's a really good question. It all depends on what you want to do when you move here. Now, is it worth taking PR in Canada right now? Depends who you ask this question. If you ask me, yes, I think we made the right decision moving abroad, moving to Canada, because we wanted to build our lives here. We wanted to grab more opportunities, and we also wanted to settle down in a place where we will eventually get citizenship, compared to like Saudi Arabia or any parts of the Middle East where you stay there for years and you don't get citizenship. Now, pros and cons of living in Canada. I did make a video long back in March, I believe, top 10 reasons to consider before moving to Canada. The link will be in the description if you haven't watched it yet. And I said that the number one reason for moving to Canada should be your motive, like why you're really moving here. And you should be asking yourself this question like a million times before making this big decision of your life. Now, if you don't know the real motive of why you're moving to Canada, it's not going to be fun for you in the long run. You're going to be very homesick, you're going to feel lonely, and you're going to resent yourself for making such a big change by moving abroad. Now, if you know why you are moving here, you will be working towards the reason, and the reason will keep you happy and will keep you content. Pros and cons of living in Canada. There are a lot of opportunities in Canada. If you are a good worker, you are hardworking, you are capable, and you are consistent in your job, you're going to be advancing to bigger positions over here, and you're going to make a good living over here. And there are a lot of places to explore nearby. If you like traveling, Canada has some of the best destinations where you can see unreal views from. It's really beautiful. And another great thing, the people over here are mostly nice. You get a diversified culture. Now, the cons of moving to Canada would be definitely the distance, especially if you're moving from a third world country, and it gets lonely if you don't have the right people around you, and you can get homesick. No one is here to do your chores. Back home, you have a maid or a house helper who's there to take care of all your other needs while you go to work, and you have your parents or your siblings around, so they're gonna take care of you, they're gonna cook food for you, they're gonna help you out. You don't have to pay rent if you're living with your family back home. But over here, you have to do everything by yourself. Even if you're working a 9 to 5 job, you have to come home, you have to figure out what's for dinner, you have to cook your own meals, you have to wash your own dishes, you have to do your own laundry. So one of the main cons of living in Canada is being self-sufficient and making sure that you have everything ready and you are the only person who's responsible for everything from rent, bills, grocery, laundry, cooking, and the list goes on. And it can get very tiring from time to time. So you have to know why you're moving abroad. Are you ready to leave the comfort of home behind to come and move to a country where there is no one and you have to do the whole thing by yourself? Another con of living in Canada for a lot of people, but not for me, is the weather. So if you're seeing my stories on Instagram, right now we were experiencing -31 with wind chills, and it can get quite a bit cold here in Calgary. Other parts of Canada varies, but overall it does see a lot of cold days compared to the other countries, and a lot of the people don't like the cold. So if you don't like cold personally, and you don't like the snow, and you don't like minus temperatures, and you prefer a sunnier place, the beach, then Canada is not really for you. How are doctors there, especially OB, during your pregnancy? Now, I can tell you from my experience here in Calgary, the OBs here are great. So what happens is when you get pregnant, you should have a family doctor from before, and when you reach from month 3 to month 5, they refer you to OB depending on which quadrant you're staying in. Now, if you're staying in the south, then they will refer you to maternity clinics in the south. If you're staying in the north, they will refer you to the maternity clinics in the north. I am going to South Health Maternity, and the OB over there, they are excellent. They pay attention to everything that I ask and I want. I've been on a lot of checkups, and they voluntarily put me on other doctors as well. Like when I told them that I needed a physiotherapist, they made sure to get me a reference for a physiotherapist, and I am seeing a massage therapist for my back pains. The good part about Calgary OBs, they refer you immediately, and they make sure that the new moms are not suffering and they are getting all the help they need, which is really good compared to what I heard in Ontario, where some of my friends delivered already, and they said that the service was one of the worst. The doctors are only doing telephone calls, they're not even visiting the mothers in person, and the hospital delivery system was not the best for them. They have told me some traumatic experiences they faced recently, and it was really surprising to hear that in Toronto that this happens, and I have had a positive experience so far. So let's see how it goes. I will be updating you guys in the future as well how the whole experience went, and I'll keep you guys posted. Question 4. Is COVID vaccination safe in pregnancy? Are you double vaccinated? Yes, COVID vaccination is safe in pregnancy. In fact, everyone should get it, and if mothers who are pregnant, they get that vaccine, then the baby also has some sort of immunity. I got my first dose before getting pregnant, and then I became pregnant, and my doctor told me to wait until I entered second trimester, and I got my second dose, I believe, when I was on the 15th week. So yes, I am double vaccinated and it is completely safe. Question 5. Which province are you looking to travel next? Love your travel videos. Thank you so much for the support. I really love hearing people telling me that they love seeing my travel videos, so thank you so much for that. Which province I'm planning to travel next? I guess it would be Montreal, Quebec, Montreal specifically. And The reason for that is because I saw a lot of fall pictures which looks really beautiful in Montreal, and the European streets, the cobbled streets look really good. So we have been planning to go to the east for a while now, since we have traveled quite a bit in the west. Again, if you're following me, you know that we've been to BC, we've seen Vancouver, Victoria, we've seen a lot of Alberta. So we are really now looking to explore more on the east coast. Maybe next year, inshallah, hopefully, we might make a trip to the east and see more of eastern side, and I would definitely like to visit Montreal. Question 6. Do you look forward to buy a house? Please share your thoughts on interest-based home and car in Canada. Okay, that's a heavy question, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. Do I look forward to buying a house right now? No, we don't have any plans to buy a house in the next 5 to 10 years. And the reason for that is because we don't feel committed enough to put so much of down payment in getting a house or settling in one place right now. We want to keep our options open, and a house is not in our budget right now or even in the next 5 to 10 years. We haven't really thought about it, and we have other priorities in mind right now, and a house definitely doesn't fall under that. This same person also asked me about my thoughts on interest-based homes. And this is just my thoughts, mainly our thoughts. So if we were to ever get a house, we would do halal financing. Now, halal financing means that you go to Islamic based companies and you buy a house from them without any interest. So how that works is those Islamic based companies will buy the house from a previous owner, and then they will be selling the house to you. So every payment or every installment that you make towards that house, you're owning that much percentage of the house already. So what happens in bank mortgages or mortgage related houses is that if you don't fulfill the whole 25-year term or the 20-year term, suppose you miss payments and you couldn't fulfill the term, the bank will take the house away, and whatever payments you were making towards the house, it was invaluable. So the house will only be yours after you've paid off the full term, and it has interest involved. While as for halal financing, there is no interest, it is 0% interest, and whatever payments you give towards the house, that percentage will be yours. So let's say even if you can't fulfill the full term, if you've paid at least half of it or 25% of it, you own 25% of the house. So it's much safer, and it's halal financing. That's one of the main reasons why we will be going through that. Now, the down payment for halal financing is 20%, so that's a lot of money. And obviously, if we don't have that kind of money, we are not planning to buy a house in the immediate future. A lot of different people have a lot of different thoughts. Again, these are just my thoughts, mainly our thoughts, and we have decided that the only way we will ever finance is through halal financing. Question 7. Are pregnancy cravings real? What are your current cravings? Yes, I actually didn't believe that they were real until I got pregnant, but it's not like in the movies where you go crazy, you think about a certain food and you're gonna have it right now, or you can't survive without it. At least I haven't felt like that. I've had cravings from time to time. So the past few months it kept changing. So first I was into a lot of Indian food, so all we had was Indian food, and then I got tired of it, and then I switched to burgers and French fries, and for a while I only ate burgers and French fries. For some reason I wanted to have beef, and then again I got tired of that, and right now I am having a lot of Thai cravings. So we are having a lot of Thai food, and I try my best every week or every other week to go ahead and get some Thai food for myself. And Another craving which I am having right now is milk tea. If you guys are following me on Instagram, I'm pretty obsessed with milk teas. I don't know why all of a sudden I just love milk teas. Even in this minus temperatures, I'll be getting milk teas with less ice, but I'll still be getting it at least once every few days. So maybe twice a week I have milk tea, and that is my current craving right now. Question 8. Which quadrant to settle in Calgary as new immigrant? Also suggest which bank to go for. That's a good question. Now, when you're a new immigrant, you have to make sure where you're working, or are you a student? Now, if you're a student and if you're a student in University of Calgary, then find accommodations in the Northwest. Northwest would be the best place for you to stay in. And if you're a student in, let's say, SAIT or Mount Royal, find accommodations nearby that. So if you're a student, then you should go about where your university is, because it's gonna make your life easier. Now, if you're not a student and you're just a new immigrant and you are deciding where to stay, I would suggest to stay as close to the city center if possible, not downtown, because I don't like downtown myself that much. I mean, it is beautiful and all, but I don't think downtown is reasonable to stay, just because I've seen a lot of homeless people and it gets noisy at night and I don't like the crowd. So I prefer staying in the Southwest. It depends on what you want, but I would say wherever you're staying, even if you stay in the Northeast or the Southwest or the Southeast or the Northwest, just make sure that you are staying as close to the city center as possible. So if you're like staying in the Southwest, close to city center would be McLeod Trail. If you're staying in Northeast, close to the city center would be Rundle. So just make sure that you are staying close to the city center so that you can travel for work when you're using transit and it doesn't take you more than 40 to 45 minutes. And as for the bank, I guess all banks are good somewhat. I'm not sure about what bank to go for, but we went with BMO when we were here, and BMO is pretty great. They have a lot of new packages for the newcomers and it keeps changing from time to time. Haven't had a problem with BMO. I've been with BMO for almost 2.5 years. Since my time in Canada, we have only had BMO accounts, so Bank of Montreal is pretty great. Question 9. Have you decided on a name for the baby, or there is a lot of veto? Now we've decided the name for the baby, and it's just the two of us who decided on names. I mean, it's only fair that the parents-to-be will decide names, right? Now, we have decided 2 names. So, if it's a boy, then I have decided a name for the boy. And Kazi gets to decide if it's a girl. And we already have a name fixed. Inshallah, when the baby comes, we will be announcing it publicly. Question 10. Is schooling expensive in Canada? How are you managing? Yes, schooling is very expensive in Canada. Even if you come here as a permanent resident, it's expensive. And I thought it was gonna be cheap, but it's not cheap. Let's say if for PR it's 6,000 per year, then for international students it will be 18,000 per year. So it's triple for international students, and that is crazy. If you're coming as an international student, I really feel for you guys. It is super expensive to do schooling here in Canada. But again, once you get your degree, it is recognized and you get the best jobs there are in the industry. I am managing, well, Kazi is helping me out mostly. He is making sure that the rent is paid and the other bills are paid, while as I'm working and paying for my studies at the moment. But since I got pregnant, I put my studies on pause and I'm not studying right now. But before, I was managing my studies and exam fees with whatever I was earning for myself, and most of it just went in my studies. Question 11. My question is, Calgary, Alberta PR process is really good, and how many months it take? So I think the question you are trying to ask me is about Alberta PNP program, and I don't really have much idea about PNP programs over here because we came through express entry, so that's the general one, and we chose Calgary. We were not forced to move into Calgary. We chose Calgary as the city to live in because I love adventures and we both love traveling. That was one of the main reasons why we shifted to Calgary, to be closer to the mountains. I did do a PR video where I explained our PR story, so the link will be there on the screen. You can check that out. As far as I know, that PNP program takes more than 2 to 3 years to process, and it's a long process. Now, if you're asking me about life in Calgary, then I would say that we really like our life here in Calgary, and it's a great city to live if you're coming here with your family. And I did a lot of other different videos, so just go through my channel and see what's relevant to you. And if there are any other follow-up questions, do post in the YouTube comments and I will be answering them for you. Question 12. Did you find out the gender? Will you be revealing it soon or wait till birth? We found out the gender, and it's been quite a while since we found out. I guess it's almost been 2 months or a little less than 2 months that we found out the gender. And I don't know really. I mean, we are thinking of releasing a video maybe in a month or so, but we're still debating if we should release it or keep it hidden till birth. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a gender reveal video. You guys want to know the gender. Any guesses on the gender would be great. And if there are enough votes or enough guesses, I might as well just post it. So stay tuned. Would you recommend buying a car or financing one? What is the lowest budget for a car? I don't believe in financing. I know I'm very old school, and given my background, since I was brought up in the Middle East and then I moved to Bangladesh, stayed in Bangladesh, we never had this financing options. So I really think that you should only purchase something when you have the full money for it, or at least that's what I've been taught. And again, the opinions vary from person to person, but I recommend buying a car only when you have money to buy a car, instead of being locked into the financing, again paying the interest. The interest is gonna be more than the car's price, and you'll be paying a lot over a few years. You're locked into the term, and it's just like another hassle, another thing you have to worry about, that oh my god, I have to keep worrying about a certain payment for the next 3 years. And why do that? I mean, I would definitely save myself some trouble and not put myself through that pain of worrying about making payments or having money in the bank to pay for something for the next few years. Now, the lowest budget, it all depends on what car you want. We got a second-hand car. I did a video, my first car in Canada. Link will be on the screen. You can check that out. I also did another video where I explained the car's insurance and the process to get a license. The link will be on the screen. Check that out as well. But mainly, I think you should have a decent budget, not too less, not too more. You can get cars over here as low as $2,500 to $3,000, but the problem on those cars are they're gonna be very outdated. They're gonna have a lot of kilometers on them, more than 200,000 kilometers, and you have to keep servicing them every few months. So you spend a lot more in servicing that car than actually having to not service it if you just paid a little bit higher. We got our car with $6,000, and alhamdulillah, so far the car is pretty great. It's been 8 months since we are using our car, and we didn't have to do any servicings yet. We just had to do oil changes because we travel a lot, so we had to change our oil a couple times because we exceeded the kilometers. But other than that, everything else is in a good condition, and that's what I would recommend, that if you spend a little bit more and get a newer model instead of an older model, you won't be spending too much money fixing the car, and in the long run, it's quality over quantity. So that's all. These were the questions which were sent to me. So thank you guys for sending me these questions. I had a lot of fun answering these questions. Thank you for sending them to me. If you have liked my video today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new. As usual, if you guys have any other questions, do leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely be answering you guys on my YouTube channel. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. See you in my next video real soon. Till then, bye.